What's a time when logic said one thing but reality said another? Last year, I had a man on the brink of death who disregarded everything I said, and came back a few months later healthier than ever. When I first saw him, he was clutching his abdomen and complaining about the intense pain he felt. I asked about his other symptoms and learned that he experienced brain fog all the time, making him feel mentally exhausted despite getting enough sleep. He would also lose focus in the middle of tasks, such as walking into a room and completely forgetting why he went there in the first place. The last symptom he could recall was his mood swings and how he often lashed out at people because he couldn't control how he felt. At this point, his condition was becoming more apparent to me, but I asked him more questions to make sure I wasn't overlooking anything. I questioned him on his eating habits and was surprised that he admitted to me with a straight face that he was constantly eating a sweet treat, drinking after something small goes wrong, and eating fast food. It seemed like he didn't take any responsibility for his choices, because despite knowing that he was eating unhealthy all the time, he didn't seem to care about how it affected him. Honestly, I see this all the time because people find it hard to take care of their bodies. Unfortunately, that usually leads to various diseases, and the one my patient had was fatty liver disease. It's common within 25% of Americans because of how easy it is to access processed fast food. What people don't understand though is that our bodies can't withstand large quantities of processed foods, so all those unhealthy foods eventually convert to fat and choke the liver. This process can take years, but if you're experiencing symptoms, you should probably start treating it. Luckily, there are ways to check if you have fatty liver disease, and it's by measuring your waist around your belly button area. The risk threshold for men is over 40 inches, and over 35 for women. After running the necessary tests on my patient, I prescribed him medication and advised him to change his lifestyle if he wanted to live longer. 3 months later, I saw my patient again and I asked him how he was doing now. He explained that even when he was getting less hours of sleep, it was high-quality sleep, so he had a lot more energy and wasn't mentally exhausted. His concentration also improved, so he wasn't forgetting menial tasks. These changes impacted his mood because he was doing better overall and had no reason to suddenly get angry. He even ended up repairing relationships with people he used to lash out at. I was confident this meant he had changed his diet as well, but when I brought it up, he said no. He was still eating junk food but was now drinking in moderation. My jaw nearly dropped. I couldn't believe that he had such good results with barely any changes in his lifestyle. I genuinely thought he was lying until I got back the CT scans of his liver and saw its weight and fat had significantly decreased. His results were unlike anything I had ever seen before, but I smiled and told him I was glad the medication had made such a big difference. Just when I thought I had heard it all, he said he had completely disregarded my advice and everything I saw was a result of an everyday liver vitamin. I admitted I didn't know what that was, and he said because the vitamin contained Bergasin FF, an ingredient that reduces fat buildup and improves the liver's function, and the medication I prescribed didn't. He opted for using that instead and got better results. Everything he said made me curious enough to try out the liver vitamin myself. My liver was healthy, but the vitamin is meant to detox and cleanse the liver, so it would do more good for me to use the vitamin. I took 2 capsules every morning, and after just a week, I started waking up at 6 a.m. without any trouble, feeling energized and ready for the day. Before that, I struggled to get up, constantly hit snooze, and sometimes lost focus at work, but now my mind felt clear and sharp by the time I arrived. 2 weeks later, I indulged in more junk food and alcohol than usual, but my CT scans were showing my liver was still perfectly healthy. This clearly meant the everyday liver vitamin was counteracting all the processed food I consumed and cleansing it. I took it for 12 weeks and I just noticed my mind getting sharper and my body stronger. Honestly, I'll recommend my patients with fatty liver the everyday liver vitamin since it works so well in cleansing my system. I also think we should all be taking something like this every day, because of all the junk food we consume on a daily basis. After all, it's not like any of us will give up our hot wings and dip for Sunday football.